Hi, my name's Chris Bryant, and I'm going to show you how we can save animals right here on YouTube. Right now, there are three groups of people watching this. People I know personally, people I know professionally, and people who have discovered me on YouTube in the last few days. That last group might be thinking, who is this guy? And those first two groups are likely thinking, what the hell is this guy doing on YouTube? So let me address the first question very briefly. My name's Chris Bryant, I'm a scientist, I publish papers on meat reduction and alternative proteins, and I founded this company, Bryant Research. We work with a bunch of animal protection non-profits and alternative protein companies to conduct impactful social science for animal advocacy. Now, some of these clients might reasonably be thinking, what is my research consultant doing on YouTube instead of replying to my email right now? Well, that's a reasonable question. You'll be reassured to know that I do have a plan. In this theory of change, I'm over here with some evidence, and I want to get to here with less animal suffering. Well, how can I do that? That evidence can inform a broader strategy, and a big part of my strategy here is based on the idea that there's a lot of young people who really are passionate about doing something about these issues, animal suffering, climate change, but they just don't know what they can do to affect any of it in reality. Well, I'm inviting those people to be part of this community. On YouTube, where you can build a community, eventually you can ask that community to take some actions. And here we have a group of people who really want to take action. Well, what can normal people do to fight against factory farming? There are basically four things. The first thing is messaging personal contacts, reaching out to people that you know personally, asking them to reduce their meat consumption and get involved in some other things that we'll talk about. In this survey of over 12,000 vegans, when asked about the source of inspiration that originally made them consider going vegan, 1 in 6 said that it was a conversation with a friend or family member. Moreover, conversation was the method that the highest proportion of vegans report having used successfully to actually get somebody to change. Interestingly, when asked what they thought was the most effective option, most people said showing them great vegan food. I get it, showing people nice food is easier than having a tough conversation, but you have to have those tough conversations as well. The second thing is posting on social media. This is less personal, but allows you to reach way more people. It's probably going to have less of an influence on each person that you reach, but you can reach hundreds at a single click. In that same survey of over 12,000 vegans, 27% said that the content they saw online, including on social media, was what originally got them to consider going vegan. The third thing that you can do is emailing decision makers. Some people are skeptical about this, but if you're a decision maker at a company or in government and you get dozens of emails from different people about the same issue, that's an unusual day at work. Most people are going to pay attention to that, and very often these things can make an impact on the decisions of those governments or companies. This report by Charity Entrepreneurship, which is now called Ambitious Impact, looked at the value of corporate campaigns for animal welfare. They found that this type of corporate outreach is likely to be one of the most cost-effective things that non-profits can do to help reduce animal suffering. The reality is most of this is done through email lists, and I think we can inspire people to take action much more directly by speaking to them on YouTube. The fourth thing that you can do is donating to charities. Again, this is something that some people are skeptical about, and there is a wide range in the effectiveness of different animal charities. The reality is that some don't achieve very much. However, the impactful ones are really impactful. Effective animal advocacy has been increasingly trying to measure the impact of different interventions and now has some estimates of how many animals saved for different types of interventions. This website FarmKind has a compassion calculator. It allows you to select a diet, it then estimates how many animals are consumed in that diet, and suggests a monthly donation which would be enough to offset that number of animals. You can also choose a slightly higher donation if you want to also offset the CO2. FarmKind has the option to offset the meat consumption of multiple people, so if you're the only vegan in a family of 5, you can actually pay your monthly fee and offset the meat consumption of everyone else in the family. Again, I realise that some people find this approach a little bit uncomfortable, but the reality is that more resources going into the animal movement is obviously a good thing for animals. I will say I don't know if this approach scales in the long term, because obviously it relies on somebody being willing to eat less meat, and if everyone thinks I can just pay my monthly fee and carry on eating meat, this approach actually stops to work. But right now, I think it is empirically true that if you pay, in this case $25 a month, you can offset the animal suffering impact of an average meat eater. So we've got our 4 actions that people in the community can take. How are these actually going to impact animal suffering? Well, as I see it, farmed animal suffering is a function of essentially 2 variables. The first is the number of animals. The fewer animals farmed, the less farmed animal suffering. Simple enough. The second is better conditions on farms for animals. Again, this is something that some vegans are a little bit skeptical of. I strongly believe that we should support better animal welfare standards on farms, and I'm going to talk about that more in another video. So how exactly do these 4 actions impact on these 2 variables which impact on animal suffering? Well, when you message people personally and on social media, one of the things that you're going to encourage them to do is to eat less meat. If those people do eat less meat to any extent, there's going to be fewer animals farmed and less animal suffering. Those people don't have to go vegan overnight. If they go vegetarian or flexitarian, or even try it for a little while, there will be fewer animals farmed. The second thing that you're going to encourage them to do is support animal issues in general. Now, you'll notice that this on its own doesn't link to animal suffering in any way. That only happens when that support manifests in better laws and policies for animals, both in governments and in companies. And that only happens if people are willing to vote differently or buy differently according to those principles. If we do get more animal-friendly laws and policies, it's going to manifest in not only better conditions on farms, but also less meat consumption. So it's going to reduce the number of animals farmed, and it's also going to improve the conditions on those farms. In an ideal case, those people that you reach out to will actually become involved in animal activism, and that's going to give a further boost to those other 2 variables that we spoke about. Then emailing decision makers is another route that you're going to affect those policies. And finally, donating to effective animal charities is going to increase the amount of resources available to the animal movement, which is going to give a further boost to all of these other things which impact on animal suffering. It's not just about individuals taking these actions, but doing so in a way that's supported by compelling evidence, a sound strategy, and a supportive community. This is what's called a theory of change. I'm pretty confident that if we can get some traction here on YouTube, we can make a real difference to animal suffering. So, that's my plan. Well, how's it going so far? A couple of days ago, I said on our company group chat that I'll be surprised if I don't hit 1,000 subscribers by the end of next month, meaning the end of April. Well, this is my subscriber growth so far, and it's going a lot better than I expected. My videos have had almost 2,000 views in the last 48 hours, and I only started posting them 5 days ago. That's the same number of views as the Bryant Research website has had in the last 28 days, and I started posting there 5 years ago. This doesn't cost me any money to do, but it's only worth my time if it's reaching a lot of people. At the moment, I'm focused on this part of the plan, growing the community. And there's 2 things that you can do to help there. Much like in the broader theory of change, I'm asking for you to share this on social media and send it to one person you know who you think will appreciate this kind of content. If you're ready to join a community taking real action to reduce farmed animal suffering right here on YouTube, you know what to do.